Chiudiamo i lavori andando su Marloes Knippenberg, CEO di Curtain Hospitality.
Okay, so last speaker, Marloes Knippenberg, CEO of Curtain Hospitality. This will be in English. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So I would start with an easy question. Tell us about the story of this group that is not known in Italy, considering that you have just one hotel.
We're an Irish company, started 10 years ago.
Irish company.
Irish. Started 10 years ago because we could see there was a great gap for lifestyle products. And when we started 10 years ago, we were the first hospitality company starting to talk about mixed use. At the time, it was only real estate that were really discussing about it. And we came up with the concept of long stays, short stays with the experiential hospitality.
And the founder it's a serial entrepreneur. It's funny, I want to know about the story of this guy.
So Michael O'Shea, Irish guy, lives in Switzerland, built up many different companies, and hospitality was one of those opportunity investments. And when we met, my background is Hilton for 10 years. When we met, we wanted to do something different. But it was really important from the onset and in the strategy of the company to grow organically and grow so we could scale over time, which now, 10 years later, we have 7 projects open. We're opening another 6 this year. We're doubling that next year. We are very close to 5,000 keys, and you could see before we're hitting 10,000 keys by 2030. And that was all built on basing our concepts and our brands around brand guidelines and not brand standards.
How many brands you have?
So we have 2 lodging brands today, The House and Cloud 7. We use both for hotels, branded resi, and service departments. Both we're using for urban as well as resorts. And because we don't go by standards with guidelines, it really allows us to go greenfield, brownfield, different destinations. And we're launching 2 new brands this year. We're launching, call it a luxury brand that is in collaboration with other brands. And we're launching a contemporary lifestyle budget brand.
Okay. I've seen you have a lot of structure in Saudi Arabia. How did it start? I mean, how was because?
When you look at the opportunities in Middle East specifically, 67% when we started of the generations were under 35. And having a high resonance when it comes to lifestyle and different product was really very much in the Middle East. Secondly, when it comes to legislation and you want to combine hotel and resi, Europe is still, or was still, quite behind allowing for this to happen. So we went in as an opportunity, and we build very strong relations with government, semi-government, and private sector to develop different projects, and we have 23 projects going on at the moment. By the end of this year, we'll have 34 projects going on simultaneously.
Worldwide?
No, just in Saudi.
Just Saudi.
Worldwide, by end of this year, we'll be hitting almost 70 projects. And, you know, coming to Italy, for example, and, you know, we have Rome open. We just opened Rome on the 6th of February at Cloud 7 in the city center of Rome.
How many rooms?
40 keys. Very high average rate, much higher than we actually expected. We made the first quarter or the first budget before we even opened the doors. And there you can see, when we talked about Rome, and I think there's many people here in the room that remember the story when we started talking about it, we hired the art curator first. And everybody can say that's very romantic and, you know, but it had a reason. We had to diversify or create a differentiation factor in a market like Rome. It has so many hotels, so many beds. But when you look in lifestyle specifically, everything that has entered the Roman market in lifestyle has gone into that 5-star segment. We wanted to hit mid-market, we wanted a central location, and we wanted something that really talked to the local community. And that's why the art integration was part of the story, building the community. And today, that is what has driven a lot of the direct bookings.
What was his job? I mean, the art curator?
The art curator was supposed to find, and that's what she did, up-and-coming artists that could collaborate with the interior designers to ensure that we didn't just create white spaces on the wall, but that the art was part of the interior design storytelling.
And also in the rooms or only in the common areas?
All in the common areas. There is a couple of images that have come into the rooms, but we had another challenge in the rooms that because, I mean, I think there's every single building in Rome is heritage, every single room is individual. So the interior designers had a challenge and a half just to make that work. But, you know, when you look at that product, for example, you have very small rooms and you have 60 square meter rooms with full view, 260-degree view, just have a little bit on the side. But you're next to the Parliament, you're next to the Pantheon. You know, for us as a company, this is really making a very strong statement.
Is this something, the art is related to the DNA of Cloud 7, or just in Rome you decided to do this approach?
No, it's in the DNA of the company, not just for Cloud 7, it's for any of our products, but it's really come very strong for Cloud 7 as a brand. We worked together with the Amman Design Week when we launched Aqaba. We worked with local artists in Saudi when we launched Alula Cloud 7, and that's 300 keys. So we go from 40 in Rome to 300 keys in other destinations.
And the other plans in Italy?
So Italy focus, Milan, Puglia, Sicily. I think everybody's talking the same markets and products. I hope that we can announce a few more projects before summer. But you know, for us, Italy is not just an attractive market because it's an attractive country, but you could see that before in the presentations. The market today in Italy still has the largest amount of family-owned properties. So there's a great opportunity when it comes to going in as operators to take over projects. Number 2, lifestyle is only just up and coming, has been really inundated with more of the bigger brands. But actually, when you look at the Italian market, it's all about art, culture, fashion, food. I don't think I've ever met anybody in the world that didn't know where Italy was or made a different association. And I think for a company like ours that is focused on experiences, flexible in approach, able to work with very different owners and different destinations, Italy organically and naturally is a really important market. Now I spend probably 25–30% of my time in Italy. We hired a very strong Italian team, and also there, I'm just pointing at the team, but we placed our group marketing and comms director in Italy, from Italy, but didn't come from hospitality. Former fashion, former art, going into hospitality, which again, I think really makes the point of, if you want, as an owner, a return of investment, you want something different in the different markets, not necessarily coming at a higher cost per key when it comes to investment. You need somebody to take quite an individual approach. I would almost say we've mastered that over the last 5 years. So we have, as a company, built infrastructure to scale. So when I say 10,000 keys, it's not one of these hypothetical kind of strategies, etc. We're well on the way.
How many keys you would like to have in Italy in 3 years' time? Keys and hotels?
Probably in 3 years, just over 10 open. And I think that's actually doable. And from there, so for Europe, Italy is our key focus market. Full stop.
So in Europe is your focus market, and
Absolutely.
you want to have 10 structure within 3 years?
3 years, yeah. Which is possible, I think. And definitely, if I look how the market is developing, I mean, we saw management agreements on the slides earlier when we started talking.
You lease or you manage?
We manage.
You manage, okay.
All of them. And we've scaled up the company that way. So it's a conversation that works well today, and there's a much more positive response to it than even just a couple of years ago. And even I would say, when I look from the consultant perspective, a lot of the consultants that we're speaking to today, who we've been speaking to for many years, one, they know us by now. Two, we've proven that we're here to stay. And number three, they have owners that are actually asking for different products. They have owners that have now learned about and have been taught about management agreements. So the market for us has really evolved and changed so that it's a doable market.
And what is the distribution share, direct share and through intermediate?
So 67% of our bookings are direct, and I think that proves another point. Guests today are looking for products that they have seen on Instagram, they have seen in the news, they have seen on LinkedIn, or they've heard a story about. And interesting, the number of direct bookings is even higher when it's second stay. And our bookings don't just come through the website. I think somebody else mentioned before, any channel, but we can really see people corresponding through WhatsApp, Instagram, other social channels. So you get bookings
through Instagram, WhatsApp, or whatever. You are, let's say, you are open to get the reservation through any channel, any point of touch.
And the expectation we always had was that it would be the younger generation that would book. And it's the same when we developed Cloud 7. When you look at the original brand book, target audience was between 25 and 35. When you look at average age in the properties, it's 45 plus. When you look at people booking through alternative channels, this is not the younger generation. This is pretty much everybody here in the room, which is quite interesting. And you can really see how people like to engage. And that's also when we talk about these experiences. Today, it's so important, this pre-arrival and post-arrival piece, which, again, it needs a systematic approach, which we follow. But people like to engage, and when you engage with them, they're very loyal without a loyalty card.
See, you don't need a loyalty card to get loyal customers. Okay. And you said you have your own brands, but also you are developing fashion-branded hotels.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about these projects?
I can tell you very little about it, but our top tier is going to be actually, we're announcing in just a few weeks. But what we can see is that fashion, sports, automotive are all exploring going into hospitality. And when you look at those kind of brands, they're looking very much at aesthetics. When you put the big brands in hospitality next to each other, if you have the color red or you have the color blue or anything else, you wouldn't notice a difference. Now, today, there might be a great difference between, you know, a Dior and a Prada. But over time, what is that difference going to be? And what's very different with us going into this segment and collaborating with a number of brands is that we can bring to life this guest experience, build the soft part and the experiential part, which will be able to set the brands apart, us apart, and allows us to offer owners and developers yet another kind of option to diversify their asset in mature markets when developing. And you know, at the end of the day, they need to make money for the long term. So with this project and with this brand, it'll be good, I think, for both sides.
So, I mean, apart from some cases like Bulgari, there are not many brands, not hospitality brands, that are in this business, this industry. Do you expect this accelerating, growing? Do you have an idea about how percentage of the market will be managed by? Because I guess my opinion is that it will grow a lot.
It will be exponential growth. In numbers, we've tried to find an estimate, and it would really be just a very rough estimation. I think we'll see some really good figures in the next 24 months. But when you look at brands' interest, developer interests, when you look at, if we just talk branded resi, increase of price per square meter, but even when you look at average rate increase in expectations, it's significant. It's really significant. And that's why, you know, we have no intention to offer 30 brands or something like this. Whatever we do as a company has to fill a gap in the market and has to be something that is good for the owners and developers, has a really strong return of investment, gives us the flexibility, but is something that the markets want.
So we are eager to listen to your announcement for the new fashion brands hospitality project.
Thank you.
Thank you for the.
Thank you very much.
That's a pleasure. Thank you.